Hello, my name is Kevin Sprout. I'm the Los Angeles Fire Department's Battalion 17 CERT Coordinator. We will be reviewing light urban search and rescue procedures. The most common disasters that cause the need for mass urban search and rescues are tornadoes, earthquakes, floods, and hurricanes. The first thing you should be concerned with after a disaster is your own safety and the safety of your family. You should then check on your neighbors. It is best to work with your neighbors to establish teams for searching as well as medical treatment. You should always work in teams of 2 or more. We call this the buddy system. A great resource for establishing community teams is Map Your Neighborhood. Many local municipalities have a version of this available. When starting your search, make sure that you have a notebook, pen, or pencil for taking notes. It is recommended to take a large Sharpie or other marking device that you can write on doors. It's a good idea that you and your neighbors get consumer FRS radios so that you can communicate with each other. This allows you to pass information between teams without having to run or walk down the street. You should not consider your mobile phones as your primary method of local communication, as the networks may be overloaded or not working at all. You should use safety equipment, otherwise known as PPEs or personal protective equipment, during your search. N95 masks, helmets, goggles, gloves, and sturdy shoes or boots. A great tool to help with this neighborhood search is the OK Help sign. You should have this ready by your front door and staple unopened bandages to the corners. This allows for quick attachment without having to look for tape. It should be attached to your front door. By putting the OK sign out, you've told me everything I need to know. If I see the help, I know that we need to get to you quickly. If I see nothing, there is now a question mark. This allows for searchers to quickly check your neighborhood for who needs help and who doesn't. It takes 3 minutes at minimum per house to knock and get a response. If you get 20 homes to check, that will take an hour. If the person that needs assistance is the last home, they may not make it due to this avoidable delay. If you find a damaged home, you should communicate with other teams to let them know of the location of the damaged home and get a team to search the home if possible, so that you can complete the initial search. Your goal is to do the most good for the most people. Keep in mind, safety of searchers is paramount. Use the buddy system. There should always be a searcher outside of the building you are searching. If there's an aftershock and you and your team become injured or trapped, there is someone to get help. Additional concerns are safety of the survivors, protection of the environment, protection of property. Before you start your search, what resources are available? Resources needed may include flashlights, crowbars, auto jacks, and chainsaws. You should also have a first aid kit that address trauma injuries. I carry a crowbar, small bolt cutters, and a foldable shovel in my trunk. I have a battery-powered chainsaw with 3 batteries. I don't have a regular need for it, so I chose to go with a battery-powered version. I don't have to think about maintaining the fuel for it. Additional personnel resources that may be available include first responders, medical professionals like doctors, nurses, and building contractors. The search of property consists of 3 separate operations: size up, search, and rescue. First, we will discuss size up. You need to do an exterior survey of the property you're looking for. Immediate threats such as downed wires, gas leaks, standing or moving water, and fire. If you smell gas, immediately shut off the gas. If it is during flood, do not enter water if you're not sure of the depth. Do not enter moving water. You should evaluate the home as being in 3 levels of damage: light, moderate, or heavy. Light damage, superficial damage and minor cracks, broken windows, minor damage to interior contents. This property is safe to enter and remain. Moderate damage, visible signs of significant damage, facades and decorative work damaged or fallen, many visible cracks in walls, major damage to interior contents, building still on the foundation. Enter only to search and save lives. Heavy damage, partial or total collapse, tilting, obvious structural damage, instability, building off a foundation. Do not enter under any circumstances. You may be the next victim. Now that you've determined you can go in, think of what else could go wrong. What happens if there's an aftershock? Second, searching. When entering a building, you should use the universal markings for searchers. It's a large X. You start with a diagonal line upper left to lower right. in the left quadrant of that diagonal, enter who you are and the time you entered. Upon leaving the building, you cross the line. In the top quadrant, you enter the time you exited. In the right quadrant, enter the area's search and risks. In the bottom quadrant goes the results of the search, number of victims, living or deceased. When you enter the building, call out to see if there's anyone that responds. If someone responds, call them out to you and ask them about who else might be in the building and where they might be. Remember, survivors may be in shock. For many, a pet may also be in the home and can be a way of reducing the emotional shock. Where you might find survivors is in the voids, at the base of walls, next to furniture, bathtubs, underneath desks, tables, and beds, inside cabinets and closets. While not common in California, basements are also a common location for survivors. When searching the building, you should use a consistent methodology. Bottom up, top down for multi-story buildings. Right wall, left wall for any single floor. This way you do not become disoriented and you do not repeat unnecessary searches. Stop frequently to listen for voices. If you find someone that is injured, do an immediate evaluation of their condition. Do they have any life-threatening injuries, severe bleeding, blocked airway, or shock? Now evaluate if they can safely be moved. Rescue. Treat any life-threatening injuries. What tools do you need to free a trapped victim? What is the easiest route out of the building? How are you going to carry the victim out? Your options vary based on where the victim is and how many people you have. While we show a few options, lifts and carries is a topic unto itself. I personally have a foldable stretcher in the car of my trunk at all times to assist in moving victims. If there are stairs, you should think about using a chair for carrying the victim. You can use a blanket or tarp as a makeshift stretcher or used to drag a victim out. You should use caution when carrying victims, as this is likely the most dangerous time for searchers, since your hands will not be available. Make sure to keep records of what houses you've checked on, who you have encountered, or who is still trapped or are dead. This should be provided to emergency services. You should find a suitable place to consolidate the survivors for safety and a separate area for treatment. These locations should not be the same place, as some people might not do well with seeing others injured or dying. Resources you can use for training and supplies. The Los Angeles Fire Department CERT, Community Emergency Response Team Program, www.cert-la.com. FEMA CERT training, www.ready.gov/CERT. Red Cross First Aid and CPR, www.redcross.org/take-a-class. A great local source for supplies is SOS Survival Products, located at 15705 Strathern Street, number 11, Van Nuys, California, 91406. www.sosproducts.com. Thank you very much.